Well, hello. Welcome to another Serious Mode live chat. This may be a bit of a slow stream, but if you're watching this as a video, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. We're also on Twitter or Twitch and Mixer right now as well. I wanted to do a live Serious Mode. I haven't done a Serious Mode here on the channel in a while, because there was something that was on my mind this morning, and I got to thinking about it, and I was like, is it true? Is what I've been doing over the years actually true? This message of being awesome, is it actually the truth? And I think truth is obviously can be backed up with facts, can be backed up with opinion, although opinion's pretty substantial. But I don't know. The only thing I can say, holy cow, look at all the chat lighting up. Good morning, you guys. Pumpkin, Emerald, Carlos, Tanman, Riolu, Bobby, Rizzy. It's good to see you guys. So basically, going on 8 years now since I've been streaming, since I've been doing videos, and I've been spreading this message of you're awesome, never let the world tell you otherwise. But did I actually mean it? Are you really awesome? And the truth is, there's a lot of this going around. There's a lot of tools that are used when it comes to influencing people, when it comes to getting them to believe a certain way. And one of those tools that a lot of people use is repeatedly saying something over and over and over and over, either on TV or on the radio or in your own personal lives. Our parents did this growing up because sometimes there was not enough physical proof of it when we were constantly told that, well, for most of us, that we were constantly told that we were loved, we were cared for, we're cherished. And there were a lot of times in our lives when we fought back against that. And it's like, no, you don't love me. You never loved me, and we didn't believe it, but they still kept saying it over and over and over. Why is that? Well, look, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a professional in any kind of mental training or whatnot, but from my own experiences and from what I've seen of people on this planet, consistently saying something and staying on message about something, whether true or false, does eventually, for most people, convince you that that is true. And it occurred to me that's what I've been doing over the years, is I've been telling you guys that you are awesome and to never let the world tell you otherwise. But I started questioning myself. I said, did I believe that, or was that just a empty message I was spreading around? And did I keep saying it so much that I eventually started to believe it myself if it weren't true? The truth is, does it really matter? Because either way, for most people, I hope, it may have had a positive influence on you seeing me as a streamer. Bit of a selfish thing there, but on the other end of it, hopefully it helped you maybe the next day. It helped kind of reaffirm that you do belong in this world, that there is somebody out there trying to give you a good message to take within yourself and really help develop you positively. So at the end of it, I don't really think that I should doubt that. I don't think you should doubt that either, that you are awesome and to never let the world tell you otherwise. But on the other end of it, this tool that people use where they constantly try to convince you of something, and over time, you hear it so often, it starts to become true, can also be used negatively. And that has happened in the last couple of years. There has been a lot of negative impact on people's lives and a lot of negativity, at least according to a Gallup poll from 2017 on. The negative index of people that they have encountered in the world took an all-time high worldwide. We've been experiencing a lot of negativity here in the U.S. There's been negativity in Canada from people I've talked to, and again worldwide. And it's a never-ending battle to fight this negativity, to fight all of this bad stuff going out when we should be sending positivity out and wanting to help people, wanting to influence people in a positive way, and not feeding off that negativity. And people do. People do feed off that negativity, and you guys forgive me, I'll look at chat here in a minute, kind of on a roll here. But people feed off that negativity, and they will give it to you over and over and over. Look, I'll be honest. Growing up, I'm not going to name any names, but there were people close to me that told me I was stupid. They told me I'll never be able to do anything. I felt worthless. I felt discarded. I got called fat. I got called dumb. I dropped out of high school for many reasons. I did end up getting my GED, but overall, that negativity in your life affects you. It affects you. It builds up, especially at younger ages when you haven't had the life experiences yet of learning to reinforce yourself. Now, on the other side of it, I did have people in my life that did help me realize that there are positive aspects, that I was smart, I wasn't dumb, I was going to have an impact on the world one way or another. But we as human beings, we are programmed to believe naturally, for most of us. We have a predetermined outlook on life to always look at the negative, and it is really hard to look at the positive. And it takes experience over the years to start concentrating on that positivity and help rebuild that. But when you're at an early stage in life, it's not that easy. It's not that easy at all. And if you're young and you're feeling this negativity and you don't know what to do, you don't know where to turn, you don't know how to look at it, just remember that it takes time to build that up within yourself for most of us. You're not stupid. You're not dumb. You're not, you're not ugly. You're not, the world does want you, whether you can see it or not. But for young people, again, what I would say is that give it time. Don't listen to the negative people if you can help it. Don't let it into your lives. With time, you will become stronger to be able to believe in yourself and to have that confidence. Now, it's not going to get any easier as you get older. This world will tear you apart. You'll have anxiety left and right. Bills, your job, a marriage, if you get married, kids, just trying to eat, trying to have a car, trying to do everything. It doesn't get any easier, but you do need to build up that confidence and put up those walls to keep people like that out and say, hey, listen, I don't need you. I don't need that in my life, and you really need to stop or I'm cutting you out. Now, it sounds harsh, and that's a bit of an extreme in some cases, but sometimes you got to, and it's a very hard thing to do. But overall, it is for the betterment of yourself. You do need to be selfish in this world in some ways. That you have to protect yourself mentally, spiritually, physically. Even if you're not spiritual, I'm not entirely spiritual or religious myself. But there are negative emotions out there that can, again, bring you down. Not just emotionally, not just physically, but it feels like there's no purpose in life. And I think that's where the spiritual aspect kind of comes into play a little bit. And you can't let it get to you. You can't do it. And again, it's hard when you're young because honestly, when you're young, there's a lot more peer pressure because you're in crowds of people on a daily basis. When you're an adult and you're at work, you can step out, take a break, get away from the drama, whatever. But the young people that are coming up in early generations, especially these new generations, I mean, they're facing a new type of bullying. I mean, this online bullying. Words in any form, verbal or text, affect you if they're directed directly at you. And online gaming communities, most games that are known to be very toxic in certain aspects, they're going to have just as much as an impact as somebody that they meet, a stranger in real life that just walks up and says, hey, dude, you are fucking ugly. What is going on with your face? That kind of thing. It's the same kind of impact. You'll never convince me otherwise. But here's the easy part online. Mute, block, squelch, whatever you got to do to get them out of your life. It's not as easy in real life to do the same thing. Sometimes you got to back yourself up. I got into a physical brawl once because somebody was coming at me. They started talking jive about my mama kind of thing. But that's the younger generations, man. When we're young, we don't have the experiences yet. And we don't know exactly what to do. So that would be my advice. But this live chat on the serious mode, I definitely wanted to get that in the forefront. I'm kind of hoping. I'm glad you guys kind of dropped by today. Maybe I can get some input from you guys. Tell me what you think. Maybe some experiences you've had. It's a bit early on a Monday morning, so for those that are missing this as a live stream, I apologize. But I definitely want to hear some experiences if you want to leave them in the comments. And of course, we do have some people on live right now, so maybe you guys want to share some stories, give some advice. That'd be great. You know, if you don't feel like it, that's fine. I can find other. We can keep going. But okay, so what did I miss in chat? Because chat was just strolling as I was doing my thing here. What did I miss? So true. Okay, so I think I gave shout outs. Super Pumpkin was here, Emerald Horus, Carlos, Tanman, Riolu, Bobby, Rizzy, Rizzy, Carlos, Bobby, mind blown. Hey, Riolu with a $10 donation. Thank you, man. Here's a reason to believe. Thank you. That's awesome. I need to believe too, Riolu. I'm sorry, just joking. I believe Riolu. Serious mode, yeah. Serious mode is something I do here on YouTube. I've done it for years, where I break away from the gaming and talk about real life situations that may help people. So that's, you know, we're doing a live chat. This is kind of new, but I hope you guys are enjoying it. Ooh, Twitch Max, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you over on Twitch. I'm hungry. I'm gonna go make a sandwich. I'll take my phone with me. It's Rizzy, Kenny, you are awesome. No, you're awesome. You're on the right track. Had a tough weekend. Riolu story time incoming. It's March break, dude. Oh, is it? I didn't know that. See, I've been out of school. I've been out of school for 16 years. Yeah, been a while. Hey, Natasha. Love you too, cousin. It's my cousin in chat. Awesome. One of the most awesome people on the planet. Probably one of the most positive people in my family, I dare say. Love her to death. Recently, one of my son's friends was seriously bullied. Okay. So Riola's going to share an experience with us. But yeah, it's, and again, you question yourself constantly as a human being. You know, that's nothing new, I think. There are depths that can go so deep that it does affect you mentally in a lot of ways. I think there's a baseline to it. Everyday things, when you start letting small things get to it, and you know, when you start getting into the subject, people start to bring up mental disabilities. Now, obviously, I've been diagnosed with bipolar. I was diagnosed OCD at first, then I went to bipolar, and I've been talking with my counselor. They think as a kid I may have had ADHD, which I guess would make sense in a way. But that's a realm that is entered into, and you need to get tested for before it really impacts your life, like it did with me. If I was able to get tested at a younger age, I think it would have helped me a lot. But growing up, we didn't exactly have the financial status to be able to do that. And also back in the 90s, you know, all of this stuff was still kind of coming up. Luckily, with these new generations, with millennials and everything, I'm a Zennial, but with millennials on forth, you know, these guys are carrying the torch when it comes to mental disabilities and that research, and carrying on and really, really helping push that forward. And I am so proud of this generation for that. That they are waking up to these potential disabilities, that they are waking up to new things that were never even wanting to be looked at in the past. And that's what new generations are for, you know? We evolve through our generations of humanity, and that's exactly what is happening now. And I love it. People will make fun of millennials all they want, even Zennials, my generation. But you know what? That's common practice. The old generations mock the newer generations mock the older generations. But if it wasn't for each new generation, newsflash, we wouldn't even be here. We wouldn't have technology. We wouldn't be able to do this. I wouldn't be able to do this for you. So, you know, it happens. Okay. Thank you. Well, Natasha, you are, and I love you for it. I have to go to therapy for anger issues. See? And therapy helps. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to reach out to the youngster. He ended up committing suicide. Ah, jeez. Ugh. That's very sad. It is sad. However, your message echoed from my voice box as I canceled my son. I got bullied in Fortnite, so I reported them. See, and that's exactly what you're supposed to do, Rizzy. Report them and block them. Don't look at the words on the screen on online games, you guys. Don't do it. Because as much as I love the internet is a tool. Okay, it's a tool. It's not inherently evil. It's not inherently good. It's only by the use of the user behind the screen that those words affect other people. So that's what you need to do. It's not so easy in real life, but use the internet as a starting point. Mute the person, block them, get them out of your life, and use that as a starting point to learn how to do that in real life. Now, if you have a loved one that is doing that is doing things to you that this gets kind of personal, that has an overwhelming negatively impact on your life, that's one of the toughest things. And it's not so easy to get away from that, especially at a younger age. It's not easy at all. But what I can say, survive. Keep going. Block them out. They may punish you. There may be physical punishment. There may be a lot of pain. A lot of pain. But you got to keep going. You got to keep going. There is a reason that every one of us is here. The world needs you. Whether other people see it or not, you're worth it. Don't let some evil that is within all of us that other people click onto and feed off of, don't let that stop you. Don't let that stop you from living your life. Get help if you need it. Look into meds temporarily. Use medications as a tool to learn how to develop yourself. That's what I'm doing. It's not easy. I hate pills, but people have an impact on your life, especially loved ones. So I'll just leave it there. I'm not going to get all into it. But anyway, hey Goku, how you doing, buddy? He left my home on Sunday, feeling much better when he came in on Friday. Man, really, I'm glad to hear that, man. I mean, seriously. Real life bullying. Yeah, no, cyberbullying, it can be as impactful as real life bullying, and that's the thing. A lot of people are just like, it's just words on a screen. Those are still words. Just like news in a newspaper can have an impact on us. I would argue that's probably less so. But when the words come across the screen on a live basis from somebody that's directing them directly towards you, especially if your name is in that comment, and saying you suck, I did this to your mama, that kind of thing. I mean, it still has the same impact. And I would say it's especially true for streamers too. There's a lot of new streamers that get bullied. Just on the topic of streaming, because you get these trolls, and whether they realize it or not, these are people on a live platform, just jumping into streaming, trying it out, doing whatever. And unfortunately, when you jump into streaming for the first time and you're not prepared to take on the evil side of the internet, it's one of the toughest damn things you can ever do. Because odds are, within the first few days of you streaming, you're going to have multiple trolls coming at you. I mean, I still get them even today. You guys have seen it. I have people pop in from time to time, even though I've got well over 2,800 subscribers here on YouTube. We're building followers on Twitch. We're building followers on Mixer. But you still have people that come in and try to get at me. Now, again, personally, I've got the years of experience to just kind of meh, and most of the time I can kind of convert them into viewers. Some are a lost cause. There's no way. But streaming can be pretty brutal. And it's the same for online gaming. It's the same for people online, even if you don't game. You know, people will jokingly say, "Kill yourself." Let's say, for example, that's done. The person you're talking to, everything else outside of their life and inside their life, especially inside their household, they come online to try to escape that, and they're told to do that. Who's to say that at that exact moment in their exact life, in that exact experience for them, those words don't hit a very open wound, and it's a final kick they needed to finally take their own life? Now, the guy on the other end probably isn't going to know that, but it's a bit of a gamble, isn't it? I mean, do you really want to put a comment like that out in the world, potentially being responsible for somebody ending their own life? I mean, you know, just being blunt out about this. It's true, and it has happened. And it's unfortunately very sad that you have people like that joke around. And it gets nuts. Now, crap is said in online gaming, especially with high emotions, especially on competitive scenes. I mean, honestly, that's why, for those that watch me, when you guys ask why I don't do competitive, because I can be a very emotional person. And I know that I can react in such a way that's going to put a lot of negativity out. And on the other side of it, there's a lot of drama in competitive, especially on Overwatch, World of Warcraft, League of Legends, what have you. You know, so it's a pretty tough community sometimes, and it's hard to deal with it. But you definitely gotta hold strong and keep going. Don't let somebody either ruin the fun for you or take away from your skill or your meaning as a human being. Mute them, squelch them, move on. So anyway, it doesn't make sense. Some people get bullied for being fat, being black, being from another country, and much more. Keep sharing your story. People really need to hear it. I try sharing mine as well. I've been bullied and I've been through depression as well. It's not easy, but our stories help so many. Well, and that's the thing too. I mean, even us as human beings, you know, we thrive on a society as a community by sharing these stories, by sharing these experiences, and that's why ancient writings, for example, ancient documents, they really help build where we come from, what we've been through. And think about it. If we didn't have these experiences, if this stuff wasn't shared and humanity didn't vocally communicate at all, number one, we probably wouldn't be at the point where we are now. But also, we would be caught in an infinite loop. We wouldn't know how to better our societies, how to better ourselves, how to evolve socially and technologically and physically and spiritually and, you know, left and right. It would just be done. There wouldn't be anything to do that. And that's why sharing stories and experiences, especially from a positive aspect, I think, to people that are willing to listen, really helps push forward. And that's why, as a streamer, I see it as not so much a burden on me, but a chance to potentially help people. And that's why when I started the stream, I said my usual mantra of "You're awesome, never let the world tell you otherwise." Did I really mean it? And again, at the basis of it, it doesn't really matter, but it does matter because it is being put out there, and hopefully it helps reinforce somebody at some point. And it's a good thing. So I don't know if this is true, but can you die of depression? I mean, I've heard that somewhere. Yes, yeah, you can, and Riolu has it exactly right. Prisoners of war in Vietnam, from an article I read, they were caged. There was a certain number of them that were caged, and they weren't beaten. They weren't subject to any kind of torture. They were just caged. Some for years, for 2 to 3 years. They were fed, but some of them gave up. And the balance in their brain, chemically, caused a severe depression. And essentially, they didn't have a point in life. There was no drive. There was nothing there. So, medically, they gave up mentally. Their body gave up. They didn't eat. Eventually, they starved. And death. It's some sort of syndrome. I want to say, and it sounds funny. I shared it on Facebook once, but I can't remember the name of it. But essentially, I mean, if you think about that example of these prisoners of war, they were caged physically. Some of them mentally were strong, but eventually they wore down over time. You think about it from a mental disability perspective. People with severe mental disabilities, they're in a cage mentally. They can't get out. They may react physically, they may look like they're going through their day-to-day, but from my own experiences, at one point in my life, I was in a cage. I didn't see any way out. There was only one way out that I saw. Very dark moment in my life. Some of you guys know about it. I'll share it at some point, but because that's a really emotional road. I'm not, going to try to stray away from that for now. But safe to say, my wife, we're going through separation now, but I'll always be thankful for my wife because she saved my life. She picked up the phone, and if she hadn't picked up the phone, I don't know what would have happened, to be honest. But I got help. I checked myself in. I told them what was going on. I was in the hospital for about 4 days. Volunteered because I knew I needed it. I could have been strong. I could have been proud. I could have just said, I'll make it through this. I'll suffer through this. I'll do all kinds of stuff. The problem with that personality or that characteristic of a person being too proud and too strong, and that is a thing, that it is totally possible to be too proud and too strong for your own good. It has been proven time and time again throughout humanity that that is a very, very bad thing, especially for yourself. To not ask for help, to not seek it out. And that's why it's important when you hear people say, find somebody to talk to or try to talk to somebody that you think may need it. Because that's an opportunity for them to say, to open up, to put just a little bit of a pinprick in their wall and just let stuff come out. Because it builds up and you cage yourself in. And there's no hope. It's nothing but darkness. It's nothing but a pit that you can't escape from. It's a freaking inkwell. A black hole. And it takes other people helping other people to be able to get out of that. In the end, though, inevitably, it is up to you. It's up to what you want to do. And if it weren't for other people, we wouldn't be a people. We wouldn't be where we are. And nobody will ever convince me otherwise. Alright, I really, really miss my dad. He moved to Chicago when I was a little baby. The only time we get to see him is in the summer. Occasionally he comes to my birthday and some holidays. I come into the depression and death conversation, and I can't remember the name of the thing either. Hey, Dakota. Yeah, Carlos, I know what you mean. I came from a split family. They divorced when I was 5. Both my mom and my dad married a couple of times. They finally met the person now that they've stuck with. Both of them now have been married 15 plus years on each side. And I'm very proud of them and I love them. They weren't perfect parents. Dad had a lot going on in life, so he wasn't able to be there as much as he wanted to when I was a kid growing up. My mom raised me and my sister. Mom wasn't perfect. She had her moments, but I definitely relate to you on that level. Because there was a lot of times in my childhood where I had the absent father syndrome. And you go through this phase of, does my dad even love me? What do I do? How am I supposed to deal with this as a man? Just from a guy's perspective. And in a lot of ways, it did have a negative impact on my life, but also in other ways, it had a positive aspect. Because being raised by my mom and with my sister, being raised by women, it helped me develop, I guess, a more sensitive side. In ways, I know that sounds weird. A lot of guys my age would probably argue, "Oh, it took away from your manliness." That's not true at all. It did help me become more sensitive to talking with girls and relating and being, I guess, sensitive. I don't know. Hopefully you guys see my point on that. But yeah, it's coming. You know, when your father's not around, it's definitely hard for a guy. It is definitely hard, especially at childhood. Oh, hey, Silent Gaming, how you doing, buddy? So like Bell, let's talk. Yeah. My baby cousin died in 2016. He was sleeping and was tossing and turning, flipped over and suffocated. My aunt and uncle and my whole family are very sad. Jeez, yeah. Shit, let me go get a drink. Oh, you drinking her this early? It's like 11 to 45. But yeah, it gets crazy, guys. And look, overall, life is brutal at times. Most of the time, we have our times to where there is a calm. You know, there's moments in our lives to where it's just like, everything's good. I'm good. I'm solid. And I don't know if it's true for most people, but for me, those times are fleeting. I think it depends on your situation in life, to be honest, both financially, socially, whatnot, especially mentally. We all have our struggles, some more than others. I think the number of struggles in our lives really does impact who we are and who we become over the years. It really does take getting down to basics of life, saying what do I need, what don't I need, what do I want to do, what don't I want to do. And personally, that's what I had to do. I had to look at my life, I had to analyze it a little bit, and I'm still constantly doing that. Can I do this? Can I do that? Should I? Shouldn't I? It's really a matter of decisions and questions. And I think it's when you stop questioning people and the world that you get complacent, and you stop being receptive to the good. But again, with the good comes the bad. There's a lot of mixture in here with these words, I know, and I'm trying to get that thought out. But the basis of it is just to keep living life. Expect things every so often to not go your way, because that's just the way life is. But definitely still keep fighting for what you want. Don't let it phase you. And that's just the overall lesson I've learned as a 34-year-old, as a Zennial, being born in 1985. I grew up with the very first video games. I grew up without the internet, and then the internet hit mid-teens. So, I think I'm one of the last generation to have that experience without I had to go out and be social. I used to ride bikes with people. I remember getting my first car. My small group of buddies and I rode around. And for some people in the newer generations, that is going to be lost a little bit, because we are so on the internet. We are so socially mediated out, especially from folks like me, that we do want to break away a bit. We do want to get outside. For newer generations, that probably won't be the case. You may have more than a few otakus. But I am definitely blessed to come from that generation. I'm proud of that generation, because I think we are going to be a bit of the last to really know what it felt like to not have this degree of technology in our lives, And so, while I do see it as a blessing, because it does help connect with other people worldwide like we're doing now, at the same time, it does have a drawback. And you figure that out as you go. Once you break free, you put your phone down, you get away from the computer, you just go out, take a walk, do whatever, and you see the world for what it is. You kind of go out and experience it. I'll be honest, people in the last couple of, last 10 years or so, people have become more dickish in social settings, depending on your place, but that's always been humanity. Nobody's perfect, especially socially. But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it to get out and meet people when you can, if you can. A lot of us I know deal with social anxiety. It's not so easy. But just to get out, take a walk. Even if you keep your eyes down to the ground, or at least look up every so often to see the trees, see a park, see some kids playing or something, and just look at that. Don't be creepy. Don't just stare at the kids, but just kind of glance at it and say, those kids have a bright future. I hope. So anyway, there's that. Also, to get some exercise. Exercise is important. We wouldn't have evolved without exercise. I grab one as well. Rum, all right. I don't really get to see my sister. She's with my mom, with my dad and stepmom. I've been there. She didn't suffocate. My uncle and dad were sad. Also, I forgot to put the no judgment, Carlos. I didn't get a flip phone till 17. Yeah, mine was. I think it was 17. Actually, it would have been around 92. No, 97. 1997. 1997, because I got one of those little Nokia. It was no. My very first phone was the Nokias, the little handheld Nokias that had Snake on it. So yeah, I was around 17, 18 years old, and it was for emergencies only. Emergencies only. Thanks for helping me learn how to drive and sharing so many games with me. You really were a big brother to me and a true friend in time, and I really needed it. Oh, Tasha. God, you hurt my heartstrings. You're the best cousin ever. And you're like a little sister to me as well, and you always will be. Walking does relieve stress. I've been called old school because I'm like your generation, Silent. Yeah, I mean, and Dakota, you're older than me, aren't you? I think I could be wrong on that. But yeah, so exercise, technology, that can go. You know, and that's why I'm thankful for games like Pokemon Go. Unless you're playing it in the car, which I do most of the time, I'll be honest. But games like Pokemon Go, they really have. I think mostly my generation plays it. I would say older generations play it too, but newer generations as well. But I think a pretty big majority of Pokemon Go community is from people that grew up with Pokemon Go when it first came out, which I did. The freaking MIDI files that played on the Game Boy. Oh my god. Anyway, ideas like Pokemon Go combine the idea, the theory, the potential practice of exercise with gaming. Now, it obviously can be dangerous because you don't want to look away from the screen, but you need to. You need to see where you're going. But it gets you out. You know, it gets you out into the world. It gets you away from a screen. A stationary screen. And it does help you exercise. So I like that. And it rewards you for doing so. So it's kind of nice. They had a little bowling. They did have a bowling game. I remember that. Oh, you're only 20. Oh, well, still. I don't know why, Dakota. I always pegged you for older. Wow. Crazy. Blew my mind. Miss De Winter, Miss Lady, how are you today? Good to see you. So, yeah, I mean, that's been the overall message of this series mode, you guys. And hopefully it helps. And again, look, as a streamer, the only thing I can really do and the only thing I can really hope is that my stories and the experiences that you have here on the channel help reinforce who you are, who you truly, truly are. And that's something we were talking about choices earlier. That's a choice I made nearly 9-10 years ago going on now to start this channel, to start creating content, not just for the joy of sharing gaming moments, but for the joy of to spread a positive message. I grew up in a religious background, a very religious background. Now, my experiences with that background have left me on the fence about certain things when it comes to religion. But one thing I'm very proud of, and I'll always be thankful for that background, is that I took away from that the practice of spreading a message. And I saw that as a way to benefit humanity in a positive way. And hopefully over the years, that's what I've done. That's what I believe I've done. A lot of people may take it with a grain of salt. Fair enough. You don't know me. I'm just some random dude on the internet that you watch every so often. You've probably never met me physically. I've only ever met one person out of my community, physically and in person. It's pretty fantastic, actually. I got identified at a convention. It's kind of cool. Apparently, they had glanced at the channel at some point. They recognize me because of the beard. So it's kind of cool. But hopefully that's what I've done for you guys. And hopefully you can pay that forward and put it out there. Because we need more of that nowadays. We really do. There's a lot of stuff happening in the world that is just like, oh my God, make it stop, make it stop, make it stop, make it stop. So hopefully you can come to the channel and feel that way. I know I get annoying sometimes because of my personality, but overall, hopefully it's a positive experience. I am truly awesome. I'm annoyed as sin. My son who forgot to renew his driver's license because today is his birthday. That sucks. Rizzy's got to go. All right, man. See you later. Thanks for hanging out. But yeah, so that's. Thank you guys for sharing your experiences too. It means a lot. I really love when you guys share your stories with me and with the community. But I also totally understand people that want to keep that stuff private. And hopefully you believe me when I say that I share any pain you're going through. I can only imagine what some people go through. I know I've been through my own horrors, and I'm still dealing with that even as an adult. And I will say, for those that have been in the boat of having unrealized childhood trauma and abuse, and it didn't hit you until later in life, and that happens because you bury it. You bury it so deep that it takes a big event to reveal that. It has such an impact on your life that you did not see it coming. It rattles you to your very core. It causes your life to become an upheaval. And that's exactly what happened to me concerning a loved one. And it is not easy. It is not easy at all. But what really matters is getting help, is not being too proud and too strong. Because there are people to help. And luckily, I have been blessed enough to have people like that in my life at one time or another. So, I hope it helps. We're all different by shape, color, size, religion. We're all the same because we're all humans. No matter what anyone says. Exactly. Exactly. Very well said, Carlos. Hey, CW2, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. But, like I said, hopefully this helps. Again, this was just a serious mode live chat. I wanted to get you guys involved in it. We did this a little early, so again, if you missed it as a live stream, I'm really sorry. I've been known to do this. It was a bit of a spur of the moment kind of thing. I had no plans on doing this. I was actually going to stream some Super Mario Odyssey or Overwatch because I got a doctor's appointment here in a little while. But it had been a while since I've done a serious mode. And serious mode is a series I do here on the channel where I break away from the gaming. I get down to basics in life and hopefully help some folks. In the only way I know I can. So hopefully it has helped. Hey, Baggins, good to see you. New studies have shown that a prior trauma makes you more likely to have mental health issues. Yeah, and that's another fact. It really is, man. And it screws with your life. It can screw you up mentally. Big time. And that's why, look, I'm not a parent. I'm not sure if I'll ever be a parent. I had hopes of being a parent. But life happens. But what I would say to parents or potential parents is you're human. You know, you're going to have your aggravations. You're going to have your moments where it's just like, ugh. But coming from the childhood I had, the most important things I can say, a few things. Number one, be there. Truly be there. Reinforce positivity. And don't come at the child in a way. Man, it's so hard to say and to relate this thought without giving away too much of my personal life. Don't 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 verbally abuse a child. You may not see it as abuse at the time, but that child is impressionable. They're going to look back at that memory, even if they probably don't think about it for years. Whatever event that may be, it will affect them growing up. I guess you could relate it to parenting is not some short-term thing. You're in it for the long haul. Whatever you do in that child's life is going to impact them in the long haul. They're going to look at you. They look at you as a role model. So you got to give them a good guiding road. Don't think you're a good parent. Be a good parent. That, and again, I'm not a parent, but that would be my advice. Because from my situation, yeah, I won't get into that, but that'd be my advice. Sometimes it takes a tragedy to realize some things are hidden. It did with me when Dad passed away. Yeah, and I know that was tough, Tasha. I know, I was there. Man, I've seen tragedy with the death of my husband and cancer. I've known pain, I've known happiness. Very true, lady. I got 2 radiated to have kids. Whoopies. Yeah, mine, I wanted to, and I don't know. I mean, I'm going through a separation right now, eventually a divorce, but I may have kids in the near future. I don't know. And it's not to say it's totally ruled out. But with the struggles I'm having in life right now, it's definitely not the right time. And a lot of parents argue, well, it's never the right time. That's true. That's true. But I think with planning on being a parent, it definitely there are things you take into consideration. I mean, obviously, you can be having fun one night, 3 or 4 months later, boom, oh hey, we're having a baby, and that that happens. And if it happens, it happens. But me personally, if I can plan it, that's what I would love to do. And it may take forever, but so be it. And I'll admit, up until a couple of years ago, I wanted to be a full-on father. I wanted to have kids and everything. But once my life was shattered and I was shaken to the core, I realized I can't do that right now. There's no way that I could be a father. There's no way. So I'd rather not if I don't have to. That kind of thing. So a little bit of insight. It's been 2 years. It's still fresh to me. Well, yeah, I mean, lady, guy was with you for forever, right? So I definitely get that. I've never seen a person die, and I never want to see one. Personally, Carlos, I've seen a couple of people die, loved ones mainly. My father used to work in the medical field, and I'd help deliver medical equipment to older folks that were on their deathbed, oxygen tanks, stuff like that. So I've kind of seen that. That's not easy, especially as a kid. But, well, I wasn't a kid. I was a late teenager. But it was the first time I'd really witnessed anything like that. But it's not easy. I mean, it's not easy watching a loved one take their last breath and just realize that, the electric neurons or electrical impulse in their brain is going to soon fade out. And whatever they were, the only thing that's going to be left is just a physical body, which will eventually decay over time. But that's just what happens. Obviously there can be spiritual aspects to death depending on what you believe. Me, I'm still building that within myself. I think we're all a part of the universe. We're all connected in some way, whether that be spiritually by some great maker or by nature itself. So we're all connected. Raising children is a challenge in today's world. I've got 5 grown kids and 15 grandkids. I always forget how many grandkids you have, lady. Man, that is so impressive. I got a divorce the same time my parents got one. That was crazy. That sounds crazy. Divorce is losing a person in a different way, yes, but you're still losing. Well, and that's true. It's very true. I mean, you're still losing that person from your life, and it's heavy. It is heavy. Now, I think obviously the biggest difference between losing a spouse to death and losing a spouse in a divorce is that I'm still in contact with my spouse that I'm separated from. But when your spouse passes on, they're obviously always in your heart. You're still going to find yourself talking to them even when they're not there anymore. But it's got to be tough. I mean, I don't know. Like if my life would have went different, I can only speak to losing a loved one. I can't speak to marrying somebody and then losing them when they pass away. You know. So it's hard to imagine. Adopt a child today before they get put down in the shelter. What the heck? What's going on, Kat? Oh, you were married 24 years. The feels are real. It is real, and that's what I love about these serious modes. Silent. That feels awkward. And that's why I chose to do this live today, because again, I wanted to get your guys' input and your experiences, and it does get real. It does get real. When I'm at home, I'm far away from my friends. I don't really have anyone to play with. Why I usually play with streamers. Totally understandable, Carlos, and that's what we're here for. When we can. See my father die, my own baby die, my mother die, my grandmother die, my stepfather die, I love my life, my beloved husband die, everyone dies. It's a fact of life. Very true, and no offense to Lady, as you get older in life, that's what happens. You reach a point in life. There was a famous, really good line from Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Indy says to his friend, he goes, you reach a point in life to where life starts taking away, in a nutshell. Because when you're first in life and you're building, you're growing up, family, job, whatever, life is giving you things. But you reach a point in life to where life starts taking away. And I think there's a balance in that, to be honest. Because it feels like a balance. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Hey, Rizzy. I got confused. One hitting them or kissing them? What? Death isn't an ending. It's the beginning of a brand new journey. True. Well, I came here to sing your name. I thought I'd pop in and throw some randomness into the fray. Cat, that's what we love you for. 60 years old, death, loss, and life happens. It's how you handle it that defines you. True. I just want to go to more weddings instead of funerals. I try to stay away from both if I can help it. Family drama always pops up at either event. Crazy. Oi. Some of my own personal experiences with those kinds of events. Yeah, it gets nuts. On divorce, I get confused on hitting them or kissing them. I don't get what you mean. Murder is a bad thing. It's taking away people opportunities for life and things they don't want to do. Yeah, well, and there's obviously a big difference between murdering somebody and somebody passing away of natural causes. Murder, I mean, if we want to get into this topic, murder is a practice Murder has been a part of humanity since the beginning. We've killed each other since we were able to conceive of killing each other. Tribal, food, water, territory, whatever. It wasn't until society put a name on murder that we started to realize we don't have to. And at its core, war is murder. Multiple murders at once. A lot of people would argue against that point, but me personally, that's the way I see it. But yeah, and there used to be, this is such a touchy subject, but yeah, it's been going on for ages. And it shouldn't be happening nowadays, but unfortunately it is. Hey Swift, good to see you. I get it. Murder is involuntarily taking time from somebody's life without their permission. Exactly. You question yourself a lot during a divorce. I was the one to break it. You lose your best friend over something, and it's really hard. You know, and that's a tough part about a divorce too. Is if you can somehow, some way, find a way to hold on to that friendship without it being soured. And I think between me and my wife, we're doing our best to try to do that. We're obviously not as close as we used to be, but we still communicate. I still call her from time to time, see how she's doing. She still talks to me about certain things, and I'm thankful for that. I mean, not a whole lot of couples can do that. And I think we were blessed in a way because we didn't jump into our marriage. I mean, for those that have been here on the YouTube channel for a while, I mean, you guys probably remember my engagement video to her, and or talking about it anyway. When I first met her, I mean, it was 2 years before I asked her to marry me because we wanted to get to know each other. We wanted to try for the long haul. And you can try and you can try and you can try, but the truth is that sometimes it just doesn't work out. And the best you can really hope for at that point is just to remain friends and keep going. And who knows, you may make better friends than you did a married couple. So, you give it a shot. That's about the best you can hope for, I think. Lifestyle choices, to put it lightly. I'm weird. For some reason, I like watching animals suffer, but at the same time, I don't. Huh. I don't know how to respond to that. Your friend's not a married couple. That was many moons ago, Kat. Many moons ago. I'm really proud of myself to be able to say that, though. When I mentioned, like, do you guys remember the engagement video from about 5 years back? 6 years back? That's how long I've been doing this. It's how long I've been doing this, and it still blows me away that I'm still going as strong as I am. I'm trying to keep consistent on the schedule. Obviously, life gets in the way sometimes. But some of you guys have been here that long, and I can never thank you enough for sticking with me that long. Not a whole lot of streamers or content creators can say that. And I know some of you guys are new to the community. I don't mean to leave you out of this, but there are people that have been a part of this community for years. And I will always be grateful for you guys. In this moment, punching her in the face sounds nice. Won't do it, but want to. And it's, yeah. I'm not gonna lie that there are moments like that in the marriage where you are just pissed off to such an extent. But what I found in my marriage, and obviously going through a divorce probably exactly doesn't back up that this may be a helpful way of doing it, but what did help us, at least for a while, is walking away. Just walk away. Go outside. Don't start yelling at each other. Walk away, cool down, come back and talk about it. So, yeah. Marriage is a give and take. Marriage is a compromise. There is no perfect marriage. There will never be a perfect marriage. People that you perceive as a perfect marriage, behind closed doors, they have their moments. I promise you that. They have their moments. But it does take work. But there are times where it just doesn't work out. Now, I will tell you, the married couples that I give a lot of props to are the ones that have kids involved. That was a bit of a bittersweet blessing for me because we didn't have kids. We didn't have to worry about balancing who's going to have them and when. Because I went through that as a kid, and that sucked. That sucked big time. But, look, my parents, like I said earlier, my parents weren't perfect. And things happened. And I'll never fault them for that. I probably did at one point when I was a kid, but I don't now. So, but again, those married couples that deal with kids that try to find a balance for them, I applaud them. There are couples that use their kids as leverage, however you want to pronounce it. That sickens me because this is a human life that you're using as leverage. Sickening. But anyway, moving on. Get help. Get serious help. I've known you for years now. It's true. Cheating's kind of a deal breaker for me. Yeah, that wasn't a part of my deal. That never really came up. I mean, our thing was our thing, but that wasn't a part of our picture and mine. But I have had to deal with couple of cheating girlfriends, and unfortunately, not unfortunately, but I'm like you on that, Silent. Is that cheating is a total deal breaker. Personally, I've seen it happen to buddies, and I'm one of those people. I'm loyal to a fault. I deny my own drives when I'm in a relationship, in a hardcore relationship. I deny myself certain things. And I see it as having to be really, really, really strong when it comes to not wanting to go out and, do whatever. And I expect the same from my partner. So if that falls short, unfortunately, there's really no hope. Really no hope. I've been here for 4 years, and that time will continue to rise. Thank you, Dakota. Yeah, that's the other thing, too. I know you guys have your lives, obviously, that plays out on a day-to-day basis. You have work, school, family, what have you. And those that pop in, that's why I'm always grateful for you guys. Because you take time out of your day to come and spend a little time with me, and that means a lot. Are we related? I have no idea. I have no idea. Maybe somewhere along a long timeline. I mean, technically, if you think about it, we're all related at some point. So, depending on how you look at it from a natural evolution perspective or a spiritual, for example, Christian perspective, we're all related. And if you really get down to it, there could be some interfamilial relations at some point. So, something to think about. Something to think about. Probably don't want to think about it, but it happened. So anyway, well, you guys, listen. This has been a great stream. Thank you guys for your experiences, for your input. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys took something away from this. I love you guys always. We'll be back tonight with Red Dead Redemption 2. I've got a doctor's appointment this afternoon. After that, I might be back with some Overwatch, maybe some Mario Odyssey. We'll definitely be hitting some Mario Odyssey tomorrow. But Red Dead Redemption 2 tonight at 9. I wish I could do some drinking, but I cannot, unfortunately. And we'll go from there. So again, I wish you guys the best. I love you. Remember, you're awesome. And to never let the world tell you otherwise. This is how I decompress. So ladies, got some advice before we go. Life is short, not always happy. Make the best of the hand you're dealt. That's all you can do. We're human. Do the best you can and stay awesome. And never let the world get at you. I'll see you guys later. Peace.